Good morning or good evening, everyone. I'm Matthew101 and welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be doing something a little different than what I normally do. I normally play horror games and look like an idiot on camera, but today we're going to be changing our ways for this video. I have put together a couple thought-provoking questions, aka I searched it up on a website. But today we're going to be answering these questions in the smartest way we can, and hopefully I look like a genius after this video. Also, I wanted an excuse to do a stand-up video so I could get my new lights in the video. But regardless, let's begin with the first thought-provoking question. What is the best question I've ever been asked? Next question. Where would you be if you hadn't followed your dream? These questions sound like they're supposed to be when you actually made it in life. I am still a beginner, so can't answer that one. What is your deepest regret and how can you forgive yourself or make amends? I don't really have regrets, but because I feel like everything that I've done that wasn't the best kind of shaped me to who I am today. I know it's cliche, I know it's said multiple times, but it's true. If I didn't experience negative things in my life, I would still have these negative traits in me, if that makes sense. So I don't necessarily regret anything. If I had to say something, the first thing that comes to mind is when I first started my YouTube channel in 2020, and I had a friend log into my other YouTube account because I needed him to upload a VOD of us playing. But in that, I forgot that on that other account, I subscribed to myself on the main account. So he actually saw that, and then he was the first and only person to know about my YouTube channel in the past. I rather him have not known about that, I guess. So I would just not subscribe to myself, basically. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. You should subscribe. I'm just kidding. I don't care. Next question. What interests you about the person sitting across from you or next from you? What interests me? I thought you'd never ask. What interests me about Howard is... What interests me about Howard here is the fact that he's still usable after all these years I've had him. He's been in my closet for a couple years now, and I've never used him ever since I got him. It was kind of a waste, but I did kind of go through like a ventriloquist dummy phase when I was in like 4th grade because I read some Goosebumps books. So that's why this guy exists.
Kill yourself.
Hey. You're going back in the closet. You're going back in the closet. Next question. If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be? That's pretty hard. I could give boring answers like end world hunger, save poverty. It's just a bad question. There's no point even trying to make a joke about it. What's your biggest pet peeve? What's a red flag about? What do you have faith in? These are such boring questions. How much sawdust can you put into a Rice Krispie treat before people start to notice? Now these are the real questions I've been looking for. I would say in between a little and medium, because I feel like you're gonna start noticing. What are you most proud of but never have an excuse to talk about? I think my biggest achievement is completing my GEDs in high school. If you don't know, I'm in college right now, and I took off a couple semesters thanks to doing college and high school. I was doing it at the same time in this program. Would you cannibalize someone to survive on a stranded island knowing that there's a 25% chance of rescue/survival if you eat the corpse, but a guaranteed death if you don't eat it? Oh, interesting. Honestly, even if I had a 100% chance, I would not kill the person to then eat them. But if they're already dead, but 25% chance, no, I'm just killing myself. What makes you truly happy? Honestly, just getting to do what I love doing, which is making videos right now. What do you think about when you're alone? Right now, literally exams. I have finals coming up right now. It is gonna be stressful in a couple of weeks, but yeah. Besides that, I think about YouTube a lot. I change my thumbnails all the time before uploading because right now I'm on a schedule where I'm technically 2 months ahead. So I'm filming this video on February 27th. You're probably gonna see this in May because I'm 2 months ahead, and I did this at the beginning of my career, or whatever you want to call it, hobby, because I knew school would be an issue, and I thought that I would not be able to record 3 to 4 videos every week because I upload every other day. So that's why I made videos ahead of times just in case I missed deadlines, so I could still keep the every other day upload. However, I've actually been doing pretty good. I've been able to record I haven't missed the video yet, which is pretty good. So now you probably don't even care. Oops. What would you do if you knew you would not fail? Cure cancer. Okay, let me get personal answers. It's a boring answer, but I would be doing this if I knew I would not. I'm doing it either way. Okay, it should be something that I'm not gonna do. Learn a different language. Boom, there you go. I've wanted to, if I could learn a different language, and I knew I would not, well, such a bad question, man, because then how much time is it gonna take me to achieve that? I overthink a lot, and that's how these questions, I don't know. I should just take it at face value. Have you ever had one of the worst fears happen? No. I don't really fear events like that, I'd say. What is the most important lesson you took from a past relationship? Don't get too attached early. That's what I'm gonna say there. Who in your life, no, these are, okay, a little too personal. Let's relax. What is your earliest memory? The one that I could think of off the top of my head is my dad showing me the movie It, but the 1990s version, or the 1980s version, when I was about like maybe 4 years old. What have you learned about yourself this year? It's only been 2 months, so I'm gonna use that last year, what I learned about myself last year. I learned that I love having a schedule. I realize that now. I just love being busy. That might sound weird. Like a lot of people just wanna be on vacation, stuff like that. Which I mean, obviously that's the ideal life, but when you're a normal person, you're usually busy or have a schedule. And I just love having a schedule where I have stuff to do, because one of the things I hate the most is a long period of free time. Like, let's take this for example. If I had 4 months of summer, had no job, no YouTube, no nothing, that would be hell for me. I'd be so bored, I wouldn't even know what to do. I would try to pick up new things and learn new things, and boom. Once you do that, that's already considered a schedule because you're doing that daily. I just love having stuff to do every day, basically, is what I'm saying. And usually it's the same stuff, like going to school, going to the gym every day. I like having that type of schedule. And right now I'm balancing 3 things: school, schedule, and YouTube. But soon it's gonna be 4. I'm gonna have to get a job. I know, a job. I'm sorry, I should have censored it, but yeah. So that's what I learned about myself, that I like being busy. What negative self-talk do you struggle with? I would say maybe at the beginning of college, a bit of confidence, because I noticed that I've been out of the game for a while of like socialization. So the first couple months of college, I feel like I didn't really talk to that many people, and I was kind of awkward when it came to that. But now I'm more than a couple months in, and I don't really struggle with that anymore. Like I feel like I've always been an extrovert, but I can be an introvert, if that makes sense. I've always been a person that like puts themselves out there in a way that I would consider extroverted. I don't know, it's so weird. I like switch back and forth, but yeah, I would say that's what I used to struggle with. What scares you the most? I think not knowing what I'm gonna do in the future. I have a plan for the future. It's between 2 realities right now, and I struggle between like which reality I prefer, or I know which one I prefer, but I struggle between which one I think is actually gonna happen, if that makes sense. Oh, okay, back to the confident, or back to the what are you most proud of but you don't get a chance to talk about it comment. Because I just remembered something that I'm actually pretty proud of. This is gonna make it sound like I peaked in 5th grade, but no. This is just something I'm proud that I did because I would never do it again. A talent show in front of the whole school in elementary. In 5th grade, the movie The Greatest Showman came out, and I had to learn the dance moves for it or whatever, because I was in an after school program, and for this after school program, we did like a yearly dance where we go on a stage in front of like all our parents, like a whole crowd, and do a performance. I had to watch the movie to know what I was like doing, and also I had to see the dance scene many times. And as soon as I saw that movie, I fell in love with that movie. I didn't think I liked musicals. I don't even watch musicals. I think that's the only musical I've watched, or one of the only musicals I've watched. But I love that movie. And there's a talent show coming up on the last day of school. And on the last day of school, I wanted to do The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman as a performance. I'm not gonna lie, the audition, it was embarrassing when you think about it, because I had to do the dance in front of 3 judges basically before the show to see if you get in, because a lot of people applied for the talent show. And I was basically here with my stick. Let me see if I can find it. I have found my stick that I used as a prop. Ooh, I had a stick basically, and that hat in the corner that's on the Thanos glove. Let me continue with the story. So it was kind of awkward because the music was a bit low, so you basically just heard me. I'm not gonna replicate it, but doing dances basically. But it worked somehow. The judges had me as the 10th show. The last performance of the night. It was definitely cringy, but we were 5th graders, so obviously it was cool at the time. And I am proud of that because that is something I would never do now. If high school had a bunch of talent shows, middle school I'm assuming had talent shows, Never do that again. So yeah, and I don't really get to talk about that because what conversation do you bring that up in? And no, that was not my peak. Let me say that again. I've done bigger things. That's a story for another time. That was a bit of a long one. How do you actively try to achieve personal growth? Honestly, by just looking back, by reflecting. I think a good way of doing this, and a good and a healthy way, in case you're struggling with depression, or not saying that I have struggled with depression, but if you're just bummed out or depressed or whatever you want to call it, I think a good way of helping you, if you don't want to do therapy, is writing down your thoughts. I've done this without even knowing it for ever since 4th grade, where I've basically wrote down all my thoughts and feelings whenever something bad or good happens into this journal, and I'll show you guys proof. In my notes, hopefully get to focus, yeah. In my notes, it started since 4th, and it's still going, but honestly, I don't even really need it anymore. If you open my college one, hopefully it's out of focus though. You open my college one, it doesn't go on that long. See? It doesn't. Because I've honestly I don't really need it anymore. The funny thing is that I didn't even know that I was using this to, I guess, feel better or get my feelings out. Because trust me, if you don't think it works, it works. If you're feeling bummed or sad or whatever, writing down your thoughts could be a game changer if you don't want to talk to somebody else. There's a lot of things I've bottled up in the past, and I've gotten better at expressing my feelings, I guess. I still don't do it a lot, but I'm just saying I've progressed since elementary. I used to not talk about anything with anybody, but that's besides the point. The funny thing is, this journal thing started because I had a bad day. So I started this journal, and then I continued writing my thoughts. And honestly, I originally thought I was doing it just to talk about all the drama that's in my life, so I could look back on in the future. But I haven't even looked back on those journals in a couple of years now, so that's probably not the reason. The reason was because I needed someone to talk to, I guess, or something, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody at some point needs someone to talk to. You need other people's thoughts. I feel like you need other people's advice at times. It's perfectly okay to be sad or have a bad day. It's perfectly fine to be bummed out sometimes, but just do yourself a favor and don't let it bottle up inside you, because that's one of the worst feelings you could have. Wow, we got a little deep there. Do you ever feel like a failure? No. I think my academic success has, not to brag obviously, but my academic success has made me at least be like, I have that, you know? If everything else fails, at least I have that I did good academically. But still, I still have a lot more to achieve, and I will. If you could time travel, what is one piece of advice you would give your younger self? I would stop trying to act like you could change the past, or stop thinking about the past like if you could change it. Back then, I used to always think about the past and what I could have done differently to get different events, because I felt like the life I was currently in at the time was the bad ending, or the bad whatever you want to call it. But that's just not true. It's a couple years from then now, and I could tell you that I'm perfectly fine with where I am in life right now. Everything is going great. Sure, I still have struggles every day like everybody else does, but I'm still very blessed and have a beautiful life that I can't take for granted. Like I said, trust me, things will get better, and you will realize that eventually the things that you regret or the things that you feel like you missed out on, you didn't really miss out on. I think I'm gonna end it on that note. I know this got a lot deeper than I thought. This is supposed to be more of entertainment purposes or whatever, but everything that I said is completely factual. Probably be the only video I'm gonna do like this for a while. I'm gonna go back to video games because I do enjoy making comedy. Even if you don't find it funny, I don't care. Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you liked the video, then liking and subscribing is greatly appreciated and always helps. Trust me. That's all for me. I'll see you guys in 2 days. Remember, stay happy, guys. Spy fair.